For the past 150 years, there has been a great debate about which economic system is the best: capitalism, socialism, or communism. These three ideas have shaped nations, caused revolutions, and defined how billions of people have lived their lives. But today I'm going to simplify each one, explain what they are, where they came from, and whether they actually work. Capitalism. What is it? Capitalism is an economic system built on private ownership and free markets. The idea is simple. Individuals and companies own property, compete for profits, and decide what to produce, how to produce it, and who to produce it for. The market, not the government, determines prices through supply and demand. It's based on freedom of choice. You can start a business, invest your money, or choose not to. Success and failure are determined by value creation, by how much you can offer to the market that others want. Capitalism is rooted in individualism rather than collectivism. Modern capitalism rose in the 18th and 19th centuries, inspired by thinkers like Adam Smith, who wrote The Wealth of Nations in 1776. Smith believed that when individuals pursue their own interests, they unintentionally help society as a whole. This concept is known as the invisible hand. Capitalism fueled the Industrial Revolution, bringing unprecedented innovation, technological progress, and higher standards of living, but also inequality, exploitation, and harsh working conditions. In terms of economic growth, capitalism has by far been the most successful system in history. It created the wealthiest nations on earth, such as the United States, Western Europe, Japan, and South Korea. These countries all run on capitalist principles. However, critics argue that unregulated capitalism leads to greed, inequality, and instability. The Great Depression of 1929 and the 2008 financial housing crisis both came from capitalist excess. So while capitalism breeds innovation, it also needs checks and balances, rules to prevent the strong from devouring the weak. Socialism. What is it? Socialism is an economic philosophy. The means of production, such as land, factories, and resources, should be owned or regulated collectively, often by the state. Its goal is equality, to reduce the wealth gap between the rich and the poor by redistributing wealth and ensuring everyone's basic needs are met, such as healthcare, education, housing, and employment. Under socialism, people still work and earn wages, but the government often plays a larger role in planning and managing industries. Socialism focuses on collectivism rather than individualism. Socialism emerged during the Industrial Revolution, when poverty, child labor, and inequality were rampant. Early socialist thinkers like Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels believed that capitalism exploited the working class. Their response was to design a system that shared resources more fairly. Socialism inspired labor movements and welfare states across Europe in the 19th and 20th centuries, often as a compromise between capitalism and full-blown communism. Has socialism succeeded or failed? It depends on how it's applied. In Scandinavian countries like Sweden, Denmark, and Norway, a mix of capitalism and socialism, sometimes called social democracy, has produced some of the highest living standards in the world. These nations have free markets, but also strong welfare systems funded by high taxes. Some people see these countries as successes, some see them as failures. It depends who you ask. However, in other nations that lean too far left, like Venezuela or the other Soviet-style economies of the 20th century, socialism led to shortages, inefficiencies, and total economic collapse. The lesson: some socialist ideas in moderation can work, but extreme government control tends to fail. The problem is that socialism, by its very nature, requires increased government control. Communism. What is it? Communism takes socialist ideas to their ultimate conclusion. It envisions a classless, stateless society where all property is owned collectively and everyone works according to their ability, receiving what they need. In theory, there's no private ownership, money, and no inequality. The motto is simple: from each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. Communism originated with Karl Marx's vision in the Communist Manifesto in 1848. Marx predicted that capitalism would collapse because of its inequality, and the workers, the proletariat, would eventually rise up and seize control from the bourgeoisie. In the 20th century, communism became a global movement. The Russian Revolution of 1917 created the first communist state, the Soviet Union, followed by China, Cuba, and several others. Has communism succeeded or failed? In practice, communism has failed miserably wherever it's been tried. The Soviet Union achieved industrial growth, but at the cost of freedom, efficiency, and human life. Central planning couldn't match the complexity of real markets, leading to shortages, poverty, and stagnation. The estimated death toll under Soviet communism is in the tens of millions. And don't get me started on the dekulakization. China's Communist Party later embraced capitalism to survive, creating a hybrid system known as social communism. The estimated death toll under Maoist China is between 40 and 70 million, from widespread famine, labor camps, and purges. Not so good. Communism promised equality, but always delivered authoritarianism and economic failure, because by its very nature, requires extreme authoritarianism. Capitalism is freedom and innovation, but comes with inequality. Socialism focuses on equality and welfare, but comes with inefficiency. And communism is equality in theory, but oppression in practice. No system is perfect. Each system is just a reflection of human nature, with all its ambition, greed, and desire for fairness. In the end, every society mixes these systems in different ways. The truth is, the best system probably depends on some level of balance. Too much freedom and greed destroys the weak or the poor, but too much control destroys innovation or the strong. Feel free to argue in the comments about which system you think is the best. Thanks.